So again, you would be asking me what exactly is a dead drop. So I don't know how many of you folks must have heard about this term. It's a Cold War era terminology that we have used actually. So in dead drops, what used to happen was a person who would be, conducting espionage in a certain country, acting on behalf of a spy agency belonging to another country, like for instance CIA and KGB, and the spies used to come and drop valuable materials, and it used to be picked up by a team from another agency. But essentially, the espionage, the spy would be transferring data through these dead drops. So, like for instance, you must have heard of Aldrich James in the US. So they used to come and he used to drop these packets, I believe, in parks and places, and then the KGB person would come and pick up that particular dump and sort of move on, and it would be, moved out as diplomatic sort of luggage, and it couldn't be subject to any scrutiny, etc., etc. But essentially, the dead drop is where the spy would actually dump this particular, a load of information, and somebody would pick it up. So, what is dead drop in today's day and age, or rather, how did we come up with this terminology? So, what essentially dead drop in cyberspace is that it refers to wherein an incident or a situation where an employee of an organization actually dumps certain valuable data on places like dark web and other forums, essentially inviting hackers to attack their organization, right? These are disgruntled employees or vendors or somebody who has access to a certain privileged information which they share in an illegal way, in an unauthorized manner. And the idea is to get these hackers to sort of use that information to target this particular company or entity it could be. So it again is a different form of insider threat, but it is evolving at such rates that it has become a category by its own. That is why we want to, or rather we are tracking it as a separate sort of a tactic from the hackers end. So you can see what kind of data is it that we commonly encounter in these dead drops, right? So there are fake files, there are genuine stolen files without embedded malware. Sometimes, hackers would take this data, they would embed some malware, and then they'll dump it back there so that somebody would pick it up, and they will pass on the infection. They will be infecting their own machines or the mechanism to launch this particular malware. Dated files, very old information again. It gets transferred. Once it's dumped on these forums, it keeps moving at various phases. File information, teaser data provided for an offer of sale later. Yeah, this is another thing we have seen where about roughly 1 to 5% of the data is actually shared as a sample, and they say that, hey, come back to us for more. This is where you have to send your bitcoins to if you want to get your hands on more of this particular information that is out there. Others in unclassified forms, another big chunk. So again, this, as you've noticed that we've discussed so many points today. Primarily, we have also looked at how the innovation is happening at the hackers end. But unfortunately, we are not really gearing up and sort of innovating at the level that hackers are. So that's putting an evolutionary pressure, so to say, on us to also start sort of matching steps with these hackers and sort of walk at least match pace to some extent with these hackers, so that we can prevent these cyber attacks.